At the League of Women Voters Candidates Night on Monday, March 25th, 3 Select Board contenders shared their perspectives on various challenges facing the town. This year, Human Rights Committee Chair Tina Burgos and Finance Committee member Joshua Levy are running against incumbent Kevin Keene for 2 seats. Here's municipal producer Yu Xiao Yuan with the highlights.
The candidates debated on whether Needham should merely comply with the minimum requirements under the state MBTA Multifamily Communities Act or strive to create more housing opportunities. The town established the Housing Needham Advisory Group, or HONE, to propose compliance strategies for state approval. Currently, HONE is considering submitting 2 plans to the state: a base compliant plan that could potentially yield 1,800 housing units, and a more extensive plan known as the Neighborhood Housing Plan, which would allow for the production of 3,300 units. Both Kevin Keene and Tina Burgos expressed support for the expansive plans, emphasizing the need to assist senior residents and local businesses.
So much of what I'm hearing from a lot of people saying is the empty nesters and the senior citizens want to downsize in Needham, but they can't. HONE actually helps solve that. If the housing issue for seniors is a hand, HONE is a glove. And this is really something that could work really nicely for the town.
We need density around small business. We need the foot traffic. We need the revenue. The revenue is going to go to help with municipal projects.
However, Joshua Levy cautioned against relying solely on building more multifamily housing near commuter rail stations to solve the housing crisis. He advocated for adhering to the minimum requirements, but also exploring housing needs beyond the half-mile radius.
We have starter homes that are being torn down and are not being replaced. That's something that can't be addressed within the MBTA housing law. Looking outside the half-mile radius, there are areas in town that could definitely have more housing.
It is worth noting that both King and Levy serve on the HONE committee. The town's approach on the purchase of the meadowland along the Charles River sparked a brief debate between King and Levy. This deal was bundled with the sale of the entire Foster property, involving collaboration with another buyer and developer. In response to a question about what each candidate would have done differently from the current board, Levy expressed reservations about how the select board handled this 3-party deal, describing it as a rush-through process.
For me, it was really important to get all the documents straight. Let's get a purchase and sale agreement. Let's have all the I's dotted and T's crossed, so that nothing falls through, so that we can maximize our chances of getting that. I was a little disappointed in how fast things rushed through without having those documents in place. And what ended up happening is it fell through because we didn't have that.
King argued the select board's action were endorsed by town meeting when it approved borrowing $2.5 million for the purchase.
It did not pass or go through because another buyer came in at the end, a Kingdom buyer, and snatched it up. But otherwise, it was a great project. We had the documentation. We just never had a signed purchase and sale at the very end.
The candidates also shared their passion for revitalizing downtown business areas.
We need to promote community events on the Commons, both in the center and in the Heights. That could be, music, concerts, to bring people together that can build community. Also, making it easy to walk to town.
What we need is to create a vibrant, charming, safe, pedestrian-friendly village atmosphere.
Burgos, the owner of a boutique clothing store, candidly pointed out the weaknesses of Needham's economic environment, which led her to relocate her business to Newton.
I could have benefited from a streetscape, more foot traffic, better parking, marketability of the town, other businesses around my area so that I had complementary businesses and referral traffic.
Burgos also expressed concerns regarding a citizen's petition to ban plastic water bottles. She began using environmentally friendly packaging materials at her store 3 years ago, which cost significantly more.
My packaging costs have gone up almost 3 times. I can afford that because I put that into my budget, but I cannot pass that cost on to my customers. So when we're talking about something like this, it's great for the environment, but what do you do for small business? How do people afford this?
King mentioned he is mindful of the waste caused by plastic bottles.
If you ever see some of these bottles, the half-liter ones are so small, it's all plastic. If you dump it out, it would barely create a puddle. So I'm really thinking that those are not the best use of plastics, and I'm sympathetic to that.
Levy supports the concept of the petition, but also emphasized the importance of considering feedback from businesses, which is currently being collected by the petitioners.
I want to hear from businesses to see where they stand with that and how well they would be able to adapt.
The candidates also delved into issues such as the establishment of the quiet zone to mitigate train horn noise, improving stormwater infrastructure, and how to pursue the 3 major school constructions without placing a heavy tax burden on residents.
I support the Quiet Zone initiative. It is a quality of life issue. I think we also need to look ahead to, again, the MBTA Communities Act. All of this housing is going to be built around these rail stations, and how is that going to affect residents that are going to be living in those areas?
All the town meeting reps here coming who want to run, we have Article 31 coming up. We have a hydrology study of $250,000. We need you to vote for that this May. And we also have a culvert repair for $225,000. That has to be fixed. And I've talked to almost all the 200 people who were flooded this August 8th, and they want this to happen.
Schools are a very high priority because that's why most people move to Needham. Another very high priority is making sure that people can afford to stay in Needham. So it really means balancing these two things, making sure that we spend the money over a period of time. We make sure that the debt that we borrow is spread out over a period of time so that taxes don't rise all at once. They rise gradually so that people can know what to expect and plan to pay for those taxes.
You can watch the Candidates Night on needhamchannel.org. We can also view the Needham Channel interviews with the candidates to learn more about their backgrounds and priorities.